A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a controversial move, the United States government has announced the termination of Temporary Protected Status, TPS, for citizens of Myanmar, a nation currently engulfed in a brutal civil war. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, issued a draft notice indicating that the TPS designation, which has provided legal immigration pathways for nearly 4,000 Myanmar nationals in the U.S., will be officially revoked in the coming days. This decision comes despite persistent reports of violence and instability in Myanmar, raising concerns about the safety of those who may be forced to return. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem stated that after careful review, it was determined that conditions in Myanmar had sufficiently improved to warrant the end of TPS. However, analysts and human rights advocates have strongly disputed this assessment, citing ongoing military operations and humanitarian challenges facing the country. The situation in Myanmar has deteriorated since the military coup in February 2021, which ousted the democratically elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi. Since then, the military junta has struggled to maintain control, facing fierce resistance from various armed groups and civilian opposition. The conflict has led to widespread human rights abuses, including torture and arbitrary detentions, and has displaced millions of citizens. The United Nations estimates that nearly 1.6 million people are currently asylum seekers or refugees due to the ongoing violence. In light of these conditions, the U.S. State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for Myanmar, warning against all travel due to the risks of armed conflict and civil unrest. The decision to end TPS for Myanmar nationals reflects a broader trend under the Trump administration to reduce immigration and strip protections from vulnerable populations. Critics argue that this move is politically motivated, aimed at appeasing hardline immigration policies rather than genuinely assessing the safety of returning citizens. Legal experts have raised questions about the authority of the president to revoke TPS, with concerns that such actions may intimidate immigrants and push them to leave the country. As the situation in Myanmar remains precarious, many fear that the termination of TPS will exacerbate the plight of those who are forced to return to a country rife with violence and instability. The upcoming elections, touted by the military junta as evidence of progress, have been widely condemned as a sham, with opposition parties banned and key political figures imprisoned. The international community, including human rights organizations, has called for a re-evaluation of the U.S. government's stance on Myanmar, urging a more compassionate approach that recognizes the ongoing humanitarian crisis. As the deadline for TPS termination approaches, the fate of thousands of Myanmar nationals hangs in the balance, raising urgent questions about the U.S.'s commitment to protecting those fleeing persecution and violence. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.